presents exclusive coverage of the Major Indoor Lacrosse League. Tonight, from the Civic Arena in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, it's the two-time defending champion Philadelphia Wings against the hometown Pittsburgh Bulls. Is this game important? Well, you bet it is. Philadelphia in last place at 3-4 with an unusual opportunity. A win tonight and then 2 wins against Baltimore to end the season puts them in the playoff against Detroit. So this is very important, and Pittsburgh would like to dent the hopes of Philadelphia. Hi, everybody. I'm Leif Elsmo along with Bill Barroza. Bill, this has all the atmosphere of a playoff game.
It does, Leif. This is Philadelphia's chance for a 3rd championship in a row, and it's obviously never been done in this league.
And, of course, the offense for Philadelphia, the whole team for that matter, is really reflected by the play of the great John Tucker. You can't get past him when you talk about that team.
You're right, and John Tucker's been a leader on this team for the last 5 years. He's taken them to 2 championships so far, and he's the kind of guy you count on for scoring, defense, and just team leadership.
We'll watch his injured shoulder tonight and see if that holds up. When you go to the Pittsburgh team, you talk about offense. Their problems with the 2-5 record have been on the defensive end of the field. This team can score goals.
They can, and they're led by John Wilson and also Butch Marino. Both of them are in 3rd and 4th place, respectively, in goals per game average.
2 offensive powerhouses, Marino and Wilson. Look at him, 4th in the league with 30 points. They can put a lot of pressure on a goalie, and pressure is exactly what the goalie for Philadelphia will be feeling tonight. His name, Dallas Eliuk, and he has his own thoughts on the unique pressure of a playoff situation.
Being my first year in the league, I'm facing an awful lot of pressure. We've got to take it up a notch heading into these final 3 games, and Pittsburgh has they're a powerhouse offensively, and we've got to take each game as if it's our last and hopefully head into the playoffs facing Detroit in the finals.
The 2-time champs have a lot of pressure on them. Pittsburgh will try to burst the bubble. We'll be back with the opening face-off from Pittsburgh. Tonight's game is brought to you by Coors Light. No slowing down with the Silver Bullets. By U.S. Air, the official airline of the Major Indoor Lacrosse League. By Brine Lacrosse Equipment and its new stick, the Magic One. And by Windlass, the official warm-up of the Major Indoor Lacrosse League. We're back at the Civic Arena, Pittsburgh Bulls against the Philadelphia Wings. And moments ago, we just got the opening face-off. We were delayed for a moment that really held us up, but this was the opening face-off controlled by Philadelphia. And that shot coming in by Philadelphia by John McAvoy puts Philadelphia up 1-0 against the Pittsburgh Bulls.
And Kevin Bilger got a piece of that shot, and again, it just trickled in. So not the way you want to start off if you're the goaltender that the team's counting on for a win tonight.
Defense has been the problem for the Pittsburgh Bulls all season long, and there was a wrap on the head of Mark Hahn, one of the oldest players in the league. He's still got great speed and skills. Now Philadelphia again with the offense. Philadelphia thinking of playoffs. Pittsburgh thinking of what went wrong this year, but still wanting to make a good impression. Let's take a look at the starting lineups while we have a moment. The whistle blows right now to stop action. Here are the starting lineups for tonight, and there are lineups that are different than they were at the beginning of the year for both teams. For Philadelphia, Hahn, Resch, Martin, DeSico, Flynn, Elliott in the goal. For Pittsburgh, Kelly, Nicola, Conway, Keith, Wilson, and Bilger starts in the goal for Pittsburgh. Both of those lineups, both of those starting lineups have altered throughout the season because of injuries. Right now we've got a penalty on Pittsburgh. And the penalty is on John Wilson, their leading scorer. He'll be in the box for 2 minutes, so it's 5-on-4. And Bill Barroza, this is exactly what you would call a nightmare for Pittsburgh, who has had defensive problems. First, they let up an early goal in the first moments of the game, and then they put themselves down with a power play, 5-on-4.
And besides that, they're missing 2 of their best defensive players. Ron Klausner and Dave Petramala both out with injuries.
So that lineup weakened by the absence of those 2 players, but they turned away that first push for Philadelphia. Philadelphia, if you missed that opening goal, it came so fast from Kevin McAvoy. 1-0 to score now. The Wings are out in front. And that happened inside the first moment. Now pressure put on for Pittsburgh. We've got to watch Ryan Nicola, who has been absent from play most of this year because of an injured ankle. He's a first-team All-Pro from last year. Nicola could be a big factor tonight. Another shot on Bilger. Bilger looks like he's getting warmed up, Bill.
Yeah, and there's John Tucker. Or excuse me, I'm sorry. I thought it was John. It's not.
Great defensive play, way in tight. knocked out. The number was 3 Denikin, but I have him not there. It was Paul Denikin who knocked the ball out of the stick, and Denikin gets goal number 2 for Philadelphia.
John started the play down to Denikin on a nice outlet pass, and he comes in, basically takes an outside shot. Bilger makes an easy save, but when he tries to control the ball and clear it, doesn't do a good job. And again, 2-0 Wings.
Wings off to a quick lead. Bilger, and this is what we've seen all year from Pittsburgh, just giving no help out in front. Bilger has to make a lot of point-blank saves. 2-0. You can see that's right. First quarter, the clock is accurate. Only 2 minutes into the game, and they're down by 2. Pittsburgh is. Let's see what they do on offense. Pat Lehman now controls. He's number 14. They get some fresh legs on there. They've got the horses on offense. And again, Brian Nickel on the far side. Let's see if they try to get the ball to him. He is now working into the crease. And Pittsburgh shots on goal. Look at Philadelphia, 5. Pittsburgh, none early on in this game. So the defense non-existent for Pittsburgh, and that's been the case all year. Hard shot from outside. Dallas Elliott picks it up pretty easily. Indoor league, that's not a great shot, Bill.
No, it's not. Dallas is too good a goalie to make that kind of long shot arm.
Fast break right here. We've got trouble coming up. Gladstone comes in, looks for a trailing player, gets it in. It's all the way across the cylinder and off the pipe. They try to appeal for a goal, and Lehman says that one was in, but the referees were right there. Off the pipe, no goal. Here comes Philly.
They did move the ball well on offense, but again, those pipes do make a difference.
Shot by Denikin again, right in front of Bilger. 3-0 Philadelphia. Paul Denikin scores 2 in a row, and Pittsburgh's down by 3. Here's a replay of Paul Denikin scoring goal number 2. Bill?
Well, he beat him. He just beat him to his offside, and he had plenty of room to shoot there. And I don't think Kevin Bilger anticipated that shot. He should have been moving a little bit sooner on that.
3-0. Here comes the fast-breaking Philadelphia Wings. They've got playoff aspirations. This is Chris Flynn. He wheels away from Gebline on defense, all the way across the cylinder. And where they have really been weak now is on that defensive end of the field. Kevin Bilger, if you've noticed in those 3 shots, right in his face on almost every one. Hard, low shot inside. And Bill, your note, that was a man down goal. Is that correct? The last one?
I believe it might have been. It might have been
Check
the
on
man
that.
out of the box.
There was a man-up situation for Philadelphia, and it was broken for a moment.
But one thing you do notice is Pittsburgh hasn't taken many shots on goal. I think it's been 1 shot so far. So they've got to start shooting the ball.
They've had a couple, but not any real good pressure. Push call. Ball goes back to Pittsburgh. Crowd reacts to that. You see a shot of Gebline right there. Wayne Gebline from Loyola. He's a big target. 6'4", 205. Shot in close. And that was Mike Smith coming in right on top of Dallas Elliott. Lou Delegati now. Look at the fast break set up by Philly. They'll go back and forth all the way across the far side of the cylinder to John Conley. And here comes the Bulls. Greg Manley setting up the offense. Here comes Marino. He's got a great outside shot. Winds up. Shoots with almost no angle. Picks up his own first shot. The rebound, and now looks for help. Marino's got that great outside shot. Tries to get it to Wilson. Bill, that's the one everybody fears. When Butch Marino, number 66, he wears Lemieux's number here in Pittsburgh. He shoots from outside. He's got a huge, tremendous velocity shot.
He's got one of the hardest shots in the league. But the problem is on that first shot he took, he cut off his own angle by running away from the goal.
Brian Keith from Navy, the All-American, the midfielder, and that shot coming right across. Excellent stick work and passing by Pittsburgh, but Dallas Elliott looking very, very sharp in the goal.
I remember the game when he was Coors Light MVP, and he was on, it was like a brick wall in front of the goal. He's playing that way tonight as well.
Holthouse now. Fresh line comes in for the Pittsburgh, or for the Philadelphia Wings, rather. Philadelphia needs a win tonight. Mathematically, a loss tonight will not take them out of the championship. They must win against Baltimore. The final 2 games in a play right in front of Bilger again. Bill, have you remembered a goalie that has had to make as many saves within, say, 2 yards of himself?
No, Pittsburgh is not helping them out as a team. They've got to play better team defense. What a hit in the corner there.
Johnny Wilson, the captain of the offense, the guy who really has the numbers. Look at Wilson. He applies a hit here that may be getting a little momentum for his offense.
Oh, I mean, he fouled up. There was so much momentum into the boards himself.
So Wilson trying to make something happen. John Tucker now gets the ball. You saw the Bulls. They are a heavily penalized team, and that could put Philadelphia in a lot of 5-on-4 situations. And with the defensive problems that Pittsburgh has, you don't want to give that advantage. Brian Nicola, number 12, is in the game. Behind the back shot. The ball by John Holthouse goes wide. Now picked up by Mark Hahn. Hahn takes a hard shot. Bilger back to Holthouse again. Look at Bilger make the big save.
Well, Kevin made a beautiful save there, but again, he caused that shot to even be taken in the first place on a poor outlet pass.
Ball being knocked around, the contact getting a little more ferocious and regular. Pittsburgh looked slow to start in this game. If they start getting their feet under them, a goal here could make them feel a little more at ease. They're down 3-0 about halfway through the first quarter.
Well, Pittsburgh's got a fresh line coming on, and Philadelphia's been out there for a little bit, so they're a little bit tired. They got to take advantage of them right now.
Joey Gold starts things off up there, number 16. Tremendous veteran player. Tried to sneak it down to the crease, but picked off by John Tucker. Tucker's too smart for that one. Pat Lehman picks it up, goes back to the cylinder to a trailing player. Instinctively, Lehman knew it was going to be there. Now you've got a 2-on-1. Hahn's up in front of this play. Hahn's to his right. A blind pass to Mark Hahn goes wide. Settled down again by Pittsburgh, and don't forget there's a 45-second or a 40-second shot clock. You've got to hit the net or the goalie. You've got to be accurate with a shot within 40 seconds of possession. Pittsburgh now getting their offense settled down. They're down by 3. A lot of time left though. Joey Gold would like to get a good shot here. A double team coming up to meet him. He looks for help. Left-handed shot. He has no help. Tries to get up front. Pat Lehman being racked. Ball back again to Joey Gold. Fake, fake, fake. Gets a good shot, but Dallas Elliott makes a sensational save. Mark Hahn.
A breakaway here, one-on-one.
Hahn with his textbook fast break, and he is racked into the boards by Pat Lehman. He'll come up. He's all right. He's moving around. Those are two friends, I'll remind you, even though they're on opposite teams. Watch Bilger in the fast break.
Well, Hahn is one of the fastest guys in the league. Kevin makes a nice save, and I think it was just the momentum that Lehman took Hahn into the boards with.
Bill, when you retired after last year, Hahn may have taken over the pressure of being the oldest man in the league. He's about 34.
Yeah, but he's still one of the fastest.
He is an excellent player, great skills, tremendous shape, and there's no question you saw that on the fast break. Pat Lehman now, he was the one that applied that hit on Hahn into the boards. He gets that pass and controls the ball for Pittsburgh. Tucker applying a little bit of pressure. Now Philadelphia changes, gets a defense on there, another defensive line. And as we look at the boards, we get a fresh offensive line for Pittsburgh. Marino controls. Brooks Chase comes in there. Brooks Chase down in the low. They're clearing out for Marino. Marino looking for a sliding player coming around. They're trying to feed it in. Pass goes wide. Dallas Elliott picks it up. Still 3-0. 6:16 left. And Philadelphia controls. You see the time, 4:54 remaining, first quarter. Philadelphia on the fast break, and Kevin Bilger making probably his 5th or 6th fast break save. Bilger under intense pressure by the Philadelphia offense. Leif Elsmo and Bill Baroza joining you again from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And the Philadelphia Wings, with playoff aspirations, have gone out and really controlled this game, 3-0. Still in the first quarter. But Bill, after that first 3-goal spurt, which was in about the first 3 minutes of this quarter, things have settled down for Pittsburgh.
They have, and I'm waiting for Pittsburgh to get into their offense. They've got a lot of firepower in Marino, Wilson, and Nicola, and they haven't. There you go.
It was Johnny Wilson. He's got the great fakes now. Elliott is no stranger to John Wilson. They're both Canadians, and Elliott really got the fake by Wilson. Wilson applied a tremendous left-handed fake.
Well, it was a good pick and roll, and hit John Wilson coming off, and he held on to the ball as long as he could and picked out that high corner there. So Dallas did a nice job cutting off the angle, but John was in so close.
John Wilson gets his first goal of the game and the first for Pittsburgh. And finally, things can calm down a little bit. Kevin Bilger has kept Pittsburgh in the game under intense pressure by the Philadelphia Wings offense.
What you notice is you don't have to shoot real hard in this league to score a goal. I mean, that was just a little placement shot.
3-on-9 here. Again, the defense traps in. Keith is the only one between goalie Bilger and 3 Philadelphia Wings. They are really putting a fast break on the Pittsburgh team.
They've got a 3-2 coming back the other way now.
Brandon Kelly goes to the near corner. He's nailed after the shot. Push is the call. It'll go back to Pittsburgh. Finally, some semblance of a transition play for the offense of Pittsburgh. Brian Keith from Navy comes in, fake, 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 and Dallas Elliott takes the big save. Ball down in the corner. All the way out to Brendan Kelly from Johns Hopkins. You put a lot of pressure on. Nick Hill's number 12. He's down in the far corner. He had the ball moments ago. He's the one to watch. All the way across. Good shot again by Wilson. Just missed the far pipe. Here comes a fast break. All alone is Bilger. Nobody back to help out. Here it comes, 1-on-none. What a save. Kevin Bilger. They interfered once he had the ball. Kevin Bilger has been sensational.
Well, we see Tony Resch coming down here one-on-one, and Tony Resch is a defensive player, so he's not the consummate scorer or shooter in this league. So doesn't have the control that Johnny Wilson would have for Pittsburgh. Hits Bilger in the chest, but again, another one-on-one save that Kevin had to make.
3-1, the first 3 goals of the game scored by Philadelphia, and intense pressure after those 3 goals. But it's been Kevin Bilger, his tremendous play in the goal for the Pittsburgh Bulls to keep his team in the game. Now they've scored 1 goal, another one here, and they are right back in the thick of things. Martin picks up the ball on the far side, gives it to Tucker as a new line comes on for the Wings. Dead legs are down on defense for Pittsburgh. The fresh players come on for offense. Now you've got Manley and Tucker and crew, the first line offense against a little bit of a tired defensive unit for Pittsburgh. 2:10 left, first quarter. 3-1, Philadelphia with the lead. Try to widen that margin right here. Johnny Tucker fakes and rolls. Good save by Bilger. He tries to gobble up, and he does get pressure. Whistle blows. 2-goal lead for Philadelphia.
Hi, I'm Gary Gate.
And I'm Paul Gate, members of the Detroit Turbos.
The players of the Major Indoor Lacrosse League have teamed up with the Leukemia Society of America to fight this terrible disease.
You can help us help kids with leukemia, like Carl here, by ordering your official 1991 calendar.
For $5 plus postage and handling, you can help the society. Order your calendar by calling the Leukemia Society today.
See you at the game.
See you at the game.
Less than 2 minutes to go in the first quarter, and as I mentioned, we've got a 2-goal lead for Philadelphia. 3-1, Philadelphia. First 3 goals of the game.
And both defenses, Leaf, are tightening it up now. They're playing a little bit better than they started off the game with. And I think Pittsburgh is showing a little bit more confidence on offense now.
They really still need to get some defensive help on Bilger. I don't think Bilger can maintain that kind of intensity throughout the whole game, Bill. He's getting under a lot of pressure. They've got to give him some help down there.
You're right about that. Dallas Iliuk, another save, coming up strong. One thing Philadelphia is doing is they're trying to run Pittsburgh, so conditioning will be an important factor as it comes into the second half, third quarter of this game.
Wedge shot by Matt McGady down low. Lou Delgatti started the fast break, and Matt McGady, little chip shot. He just hammered at it like a slap shot. Hockey-like in fashion. 1 minute, 2 seconds left in the first quarter. Score remains 3-1. And in the first 3 minutes of the game, Philadelphia had 3 goals. That's how fast they came out of the box. Kevin Bilger started closing the door for his defense in Pittsburgh without much help, mind you. And then John Wilson scored 1 goal for Pittsburgh to make it 3-1. That's where we stand. 37 seconds left. First quarter still. Philadelphia applying pressure. Nice fake there. This could be a fast break. Off to the races. Here we go. Pittsburgh trying to do goal number 2. No. Dallas Elliott makes the big save. Ed Stevenson came flying down the fast break, and Stevenson had nobody in front of him. But Dallas Elliott is really playing smart and with a lot of intensity.
He is, and Stevenson I've been impressed with this season. He's had quite a few goals, and he continues to improve every game.
Ed Stevenson from Towson State. Towson State putting out a lot of excellent players, a program that's getting nothing but better. That's the end of the first quarter. It's Philadelphia 3, the Pittsburgh Bulls 1. We'll be back with second quarter action in just a moment. Welcome back to the Civic Arena in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And this crowd was stunned in the first 3 minutes of the first quarter because Philadelphia came flying out of the box to get that 3-goal lead. Pittsburgh got one before the end of the quarter. And Dallas Elliott, we just looked at, he has been sensational for Philadelphia. A lot of pressure on him. On the other end, Kevin Bilger is the only reason that Pittsburgh is not behind by about 7 goals right now. He has been under intense pressure. Bilger having a great game, being watched by his family that is here. His parents have come up to Pittsburgh to watch this game, and he is playing at the top level of this game in the indoor box league. Another shot by Mark Hahn on a fast break, and Bill, they are getting the ball right off the faceoff and coming down with an unbelievable, relentless attack.
Yeah, loose balls continue to be a problem for Pittsburgh, and they've got to pick them up. And again, another one save by Kevin, and you can't do that all night.
And unfortunately, bad luck is starting to mount up. Gebline goes into the penalty box. Wayne Gebline from Loyola goes into the penalty box just moments into quarter number 2, which means 5-on-4, a chance for Philadelphia to widen their margin right here. They're up by 2, and they have a 5-on-4 situation right now. Kevin Bilger has been under pressure from the opening whistle with little or no help from his defense. Ball knocked down here. The man down defense has done a great job. Now they've got 2 minutes on this penalty to try to eat up some time. They tried to sneak it up to Ed Stevenson, and Bill, they wasted a good opportunity to kill a lot of that penalty.
Yeah, they did. Again, they should have taken the ball, controlled it, but they're going to put pressure back on Bilger one more time.
John Tucker tried to sneak that ball down to Mark Hahn, and this time the man down defense will just send it upfield. Elliott comes out, and that eats up about 10 seconds off that penalty, which is now down to 1:23. Good look at John Tucker, number 2. Obviously, you figured out, hopefully, that Philadelphia is in the gray and black, and the Pittsburgh team in the Steeler-type colors, the gold and black.
Well, if Kevin Bilger was sleeping at all, that woke him up. It hit him right square in the face mask, and he had to make 2 saves there in a row.
His goalies have both been playing at a very high level. Now trying to sneak it down to Brian Nicola. Nicola has to get it with Tucker right on his back. He does. He comes in with a fake, and finally puts it right into the chest mask, or the chest protector of Elliott. But a push call on the defense of Philadelphia, and the ball will stay in the offensive end of Pittsburgh.
Brian does a great job at getting that ball off the boards, bounces, and he throws 2 or 3 fakes in there, but Dallas Elliott didn't go for the first 2, and then the third one where he did shoot, that's when he went for it and made the save.
So now it's still 5-on-4. They should try to double team the ball. Philadelphia trying not to open up a seam for Pittsburgh, but Pittsburgh is still down by 1 man. There's 31 seconds left on that penalty, but they've got possession right there. Marino takes a shot, really a shot that might surprise the goalie. Again, he tries to push it into Wilson, who peels back. Good move by Wilson. 2 players in front of him.
And that was a smart play. He didn't throw the ball away, didn't take an unnecessary shot. They're waiting for the guy to come out of the penalty box, which he should be doing very shortly.
8 seconds left. Here comes Nicola. Another fake, and he tries to stick it in behind the goalie. In the crease, violation was called on Butch Marino off of the rebound shot from Brian Nicola. Now a fast break on the other end of the field. A shot and a great save. Let's take a look at that last save by Elliott.
Yeah, Nicola makes a shot that, again, the rebound came out right to a Pittsburgh guy, and the red light did go on, but somebody was in the crease.
You know, Marino was pushing in to get that rebound shot. Nicola, again, had an excellent chance to score, but Dallas Elliott coming up very strong. Good look at the bench of the Pittsburgh Bulls. Butch Marino coming out. They have successfully pushed off the pressure of that 5-on-4, the power play. So they did not score on it. Philadelphia did not. Now, I think Philadelphia is going to have a penalty. And what a switch this would be, Bill. If they can turn back the penalty, which they've done, and then get one of their own, they're back to within 1 goal, and things may change for the Pittsburgh Bulls.
Well, I've been impressed all season with Pittsburgh's man-up play. They've got 3 good offensive talents on this between Wilson, Marino, and Nicola. So I'll look for a little bit of ball movement, but they should get a goal on this play.
Oh, good look right there of John Wilson. He's their Mr. Everything. This is the power play, the extra man play. Penalty, 2-minute penalty. Personal foul called on Chris Flynn of Philadelphia, and he'll spend time in the box over there. Chris Flynn, if you recognize the name, was a tremendous hero in the football world at Penn, University of Pennsylvania, and an excellent lacrosse player as well, playing now in the Major Indoor Lacrosse League for the Philadelphia Wings. Wilson will trigger from up top, tries to sneak it in close, saved by Elliott. Rebound shot by Nicola, still out in front. Turn around, Brian Keith can't handle it. That'll cost him. They had a chance to put some pressure on Dallas Elliott. Now Keith comes up and pushes into the cylinder. And they'll set it up with 1:32 left on the penalty. John Wilson out front, very relaxed. Wilson just cranks the shot. Ball still loose. Pat Hanley to the far side, and look at the save by Elliott.
Well, I said Pittsburgh would score, but they're getting closer and closer every time they shoot the ball.
Wilson had a tremendous shot there, and he elected to go all the way over to Brian Keith, who had little or no shot. Wilson second-guessing his own ability, and he's got plenty of it. 1 minute left on the penalty. Here comes Pittsburgh. Line changes have everybody confused out there. Philadelphia, matter of fact, only had 3 guys on the field. Now they are back down to four people, down by 1.
Pittsburgh's still on the power play.
So it's still 5-on-4. They need to get a shot in close, and look at Elliott's save. Another save of Brian Keith, who takes a shot wide and high. What great saves. Here comes Nicola in close, fake, all the way across to Brian Keith. The great goaltending of Dallas Elliott is making these shooters think too much. I think it's evident in the last few shots, Bill, that they are second-guessing their own abilities. He has been so sensational in the goal that they are thinking too much and not shooting the second fake. They're waiting to a third fake and a fourth fake.
You're exactly right, and they're looking for him to move to find an open spot to shoot. They've got to let the ball go sooner. Philadelphia is still man down here.
5 seconds left on the penalty. Butch Marino tries to get the ball, chips it out. You cannot go into the cylinder at all when that ball's in there, so the protection of that cylinder, the crease area, gives the ball back to Dallas Elliott. 1 second left on the penalty, so both teams have had 2 minutes of power play, of 5-on-4 offense. Neither team has scored. The score remains 3-1 in favor of Philadelphia.
Well, I had said that Pittsburgh would score on the strength of their power play. I was wrong, but at the same time, Dallas Elliott did an outstanding job coming up with about 5 saves there that were every one of them better than the one before.
He came up huge, and Bill, you've played at a high level in the goal. Must be a great feeling for a goalie to know. You get a sense when those players start shooting differently. There's a shot in close, and as I talk about the goalie play, just like that, they come in and score. Philadelphia under Scott Gabrielson's offense. No goal, they're saying. No goal, still 3-1. We'll be back with more second quarter in a moment. There's the score, 3-1. We've had 2 goals called back in the last few moments. 1 for each team. The score remains 3-1. 2 in the crease violations. The last one was Ed Stevenson coming down for Pittsburgh, but 3-1 the score remains, and now a lot of that scoring happened in the very early moments of the first quarter. We are now about 5 minutes through quarter number 2. Lee Fellows along with Bill Barroza. Bill, I started talking about the great goalie play, and you've seen it as a goalie when you have those real super hot days where you are just unbeatable. I think you probably can tell, can't you, the look in the eyes of the attackmen, that they are just changing their style. They're befuddled. They just don't know what to do. They pulled up all their tricks, and they've come up empty.
That's what happens, and it helps your team play better defense. They're comfortable in taking chances because, again, they know that you're playing well.
Let's take a look at the goal that was called back for Philadelphia. This was moments ago. Scott Gabrielson comes in, takes a shot, and that one was called back because he stepped in the crease on his way out into the cylinder area. Moments after that, Ed Stevenson came down on a fast break, scored. That was called back. So forget all that confusion. The score remains 3-1.
And Pittsburgh now has a man in the penalty box. That's John Wilson, his second penalty of the evening.
So with 9:06 left, another 2-minute penalty on Wilson and the Pittsburgh Bulls, and they've got to turn away another 5-on-4 opportunity for Philadelphia. Philadelphia's 3 goals, to remind you again, came in the first 3 minutes of the game. Shot in close, that's a goal. And it didn't take long to get that offense cranked up. He was all alone in front. Paul Denikin has the last 3 goals for Philadelphia. Denikin coming on strong.
They moved the ball on the outside well, and again, the cutter came through. That was Denikin. The movement on that play allowed him to cut through, and nobody picked him up. Just a simple shot right off the crease. And right now, Paul Denikin becoming the hero for this evening's game, and not a likely star.
Paul Denikin from Washington College, 5'10", 180. A tremendous program at Washington. Really teaches you excellent fundamentals and skills. Good players come out of that program each and every year. 4-1 now the score. A long drought between those goals. But Denikin has gotten the last 3 for Philadelphia. That wipes out the penalty, all even now. Pittsburgh needs some goals. They have not been able to beat. They've had some good offense, but have been unable to beat the great play of Dallas Elliott.
Well, Denikin's had 6 goals all season, Leaf, and he's had 3 tonight, so he has increased his production significantly.
Makes you think they may have taken him a little bit too lightly. Stevenson tries to shoot the left hand. Little or no angle. Ball goes back to Philadelphia. They are on a roll. Chris Flynn now pushing up the offense. Goes back to the trailing player Conley in the cylinder. And look at the hustle on Philadelphia's end of the field. Bob Hoynes gets nailed on the far side. Lehman tries to pick up the loose ball. Bilger threatening to come out. Bilger does. Contact taking a step forward in the ferocity department. It's really getting a little bit physical down there.
Well, the pace is picking up, and it's exciting to watch up here.
Tucker brings a fresh line on for defense while Pittsburgh takes their time putting a new offensive line on. The shot clock's down to 20 seconds. Brooke Chase now with the ball. He from Syracuse. Bill Weicker comes in, pushing in, tries that power move. And Pete Park has made that power move very famous because he started in Detroit this year, where he wards off with one arm and really puts pressure on the offense. That time Weicker tried it.
Well, Weicker is 6'4", 205 pounds, so he's not a small target to try to defend.
Gary Martin now gives the ball back to Holthouse. Some tired legs trying to come off. Lou Delegati saying, somebody give me a breather. Sonny Resch comes on for him. McAvoy now over to the far corner. Mark Hahn down in the corner trying to use his speed to get open against Brooke Chase. He gets a little bit of an opening. Bilger eats that one up. Looking for the outlet. Butch Marino now calm things down. 6:29 left, second quarter. Weicker wide open in the cylinder. Puts it right in the stick of Elliott. Boy, he makes it look easy. Picked up by Billy Weicker. He's got another chance all over to Brooke Chase. Brooke Chase puts that one right off the face mask. 2 straight saves by Dallas Elliott.
If Pittsburgh continues at this pace and shooting the way they are, Dallas is going to have to stay strong the whole game. I think Pittsburgh has a chance to come back and score quite a few goals.
Trying to wear him down. Tucker comes in with a fake, but check from behind. Tremendous check from behind by Ed Stevenson. Boy, Tucker face dodged him, had it wide open in the cylinder. But the check from behind took away the shot. 4-1. Score remains. Down to about 5.5 minutes in the first half. Fresh legs on for Pittsburgh. Shot clock down to 22. Nicola taking the outside shot, and the ball's out of bounds. We'll be back with the closing moments of quarter number 2. Stay with us. Still second quarter action, 4:27 left. Pittsburgh on the offense. They need a goal in a hurry. They put a lot of pressure on Bill Barroza. They just can't beat that man, Dallas Elliott.
I don't think that was supposed to be a shot. I think Joe Gold saw a cutting Pittsburgh ball, but he didn't continue on his cut to get the pass.
So Pittsburgh continues to throw away some good opportunities. They've had some great shots. Elliott just playing at the top of his game. On the other end of the field, Bilger has been equally as impressive. Philadelphia got the bulk of their scoring again in that first 3 minutes when there was a little bit of an unsettled feeling and no defense in front of Bilger to help him out at all.
Yeah, the game has settled down. It was, again, the first 3 minutes that made the difference.
Matt McGady comes in sandwiched, and the shot picked up off the back wall, off the back boards by Kevin Bilger. Now Pittsburgh again has a chance with 3:40. They have been knocking at the door for 2 quarters to make some kind of significant dent to that impregnable defense put up by Dallas Elliott. Let's see if they can do it here. Joey Gold comes in, dishes it off the last minute to Pat Lehman. Lehman played by Ricky Freed there by Philadelphia, number 13. Switches to Conley inside. You can't get any better than that, and Dallas Elliott comes up with a big save again. Chris Flynn, fast breaking. All the way into the cylinder, right-handed shot gobbled up by Bilger. both ends of the field. The goalies are playing sensationally. That play by Pittsburgh, Bill, was a tremendous play. They fed to the crease, the cylinder area. It was redirected right away, and Elling made an unbelievable save.
He did, and every one of them is acrobatic.
.251, Pittsburgh still applying pressure. They're down by 3, 4-1, quarter number 2. Our Prime Network game of the week. Weicker tries to put one past that tough goalie Dallas Elling. Again in on the crease. Here's pressure. Weicker again. If he gets it off, he can't find the corner.
Philadelphia has a break 3-on-1 here.
Only one defender there. Gary Martin looks off the defense. Lou Delgatti takes a shot, and Bilger makes a great save. Out in front, he'll have to make an unbelievable one there. He can't get it. No defensive help. Wide open in front of Bilger. And the score now, Philadelphia 5, the Bulls 1. Let's take a look at goal number 5 for Philadelphia.
Yeah, Lou Delgatti makes a shot. Again, a nice save by Kevin Bilger. Gary Martin on a feed to Rob Hoynes. And Rob Hoynes got Bilger to move down and to go down to his knees, which was not a good play on Kevin's part. Again, Rob Hoynes from West Point, his first game in the MILL.
That injury factor again for Philadelphia. They have to remain healthy. They must beat Baltimore. No matter what happens tonight, Philadelphia has to beat Baltimore, their final 2 games of the season, in order to go to the championship matchup against Detroit. Detroit, the one team that has separated themselves, given themselves distance from the rest of the MILL, which is showing a lot of parity. And these 2-time champion Philadelphia Wings are really being pressed for that return three-peat try. Less than 2 minutes, 1:48 left. Pittsburgh needs one badly. The shot clock down to 13. Kelly takes a shot that bounces off a few face masks. And that may cost somebody a couple of minutes in the box. I think we had a check up to the face. And Tom Young is relaying that to the penalty box. And I think somebody, and I think it may be. Let's take a look here what happens. Nobody's coming off the box. Here we go, Brian Nicola. So nobody goes in the box. Brian Nicola trying to push it in from his left-hand side. That's what he loves to do. I don't know what Tom Young was talking about, but he went over there. Maybe he reset a clock. But regardless, 1:27 left, first half of play, and a 4-goal lead by Philadelphia, rather, 5-1. The Wings over the Bulls. They'll settle things down a little bit.
Well, Philadelphia is looking as good tonight, Leaf, as they have all season. They're moving the ball well, playing good defense, and their goaltending has been outstanding.
Goaltending has been about as good as it gets. But Kevin Bilger, I'll tell you what, I think has played step for step. He has had not as much help as Philadelphia has in front of Dallas Elliott. And that's been a weakness for this Pittsburgh team all year long. They just have not played good team defense. They squander an opportunity there. 48 seconds left. Long pass by Tucker. They push it into the cylinder. Here comes a move across the cylinder by Gabrielson. Scott Gabrielson from Vermont. Whistle blows.
When you think of University of Vermont, you don't think of strong lacrosse, but Scott Gabrielson is one of the best players in the league. Very potent offensive player.
Hometown of Princeton, New Jersey. Tucker now. 21 on the shot clock, 31 on the second quarter. Tucker will push it down the cylinder. He's getting shoved from behind, and Bilger goes down to his knees. Another save he has to make. Bilger, constant pressure. 21 seconds. Let's see if they call a timeout to set up something on the offensive end of the field. Nicola gets it. He's trouble from there. He comes in, tries to get it across, and does. Goal number 2 for the Pittsburgh Bulls.
That's a play that always works. Moving the goalie from one side of the crease to the next. And Nicola finally makes a good pass here instead of trying to squeeze the ball between the goalie and the pipe. Gets the goalie to commit, feeds it across.
Brendan Kelly, Bill, on the far side. Brendan Kelly from Hopkins, and Brian Nicola right there, who needs to be a factor if Pittsburgh is going to win this game. Here's a guy who had an injury. He was a first-team All-Pro last year, and he needs to get himself back into the groove. It's tough to do, Bill, isn't it, when you come off an injury, coming back and get into the sync of this fast-paced game.
Well, particularly when you have an ankle injury, just staying in shape to run up and down this floor is a very tough thing to do.
Off the face-off, the Pittsburgh Bulls almost put in goal number 3, but they fail at that moment. The 3 goals that Philadelphia scored in the opening 3 minutes proved to be the difference. 5-2 is the score at halftime. We'll be back with our Coors Light halftime, so please stay with us. Welcome back to the Civic Arena in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. It's halftime, and this is our Coors Light halftime report. And we're all set to watch the Coors Light six-pack put on a little exhibition of dancing down there, a crowd favorite and a good crowd here at the Civic Arena. As we watch them and get into our Coors Light halftime, we had an opportunity earlier today to talk to one of the stars here in the 5th year of the Major Indoor Lacrosse League. Let's take a moment now and join that interview. It's our pleasure at halftime to talk to one of the true stars in the league, John Tucker, one of the only guys I can say I played with in this lacrosse game, and they're getting few and far in between. Johnny is a true star. He's been on 2 world teams for the United States, just came back from Australia this year. You've been in this league, John, this is your 5th year, right, and you've seen a lot of changes in the MILL.
Yes, I have. The quality of athlete has really improved, Leaf, and you know, it's just tremendous to be out here with the type of athlete that we can encounter. The guys really work hard at it. The best lacrosse players in the world are playing this game, and it's, you know, really good to see. The league has improved a lot. I think not only in the athlete, but in the goaltending. The goaltending has been terrific, and I think it started with Teddy Sawicki, Canadian goalie, and then we acquired Dwight Mecke, and you can see it with Dallas Elliott. And the local goaltenders are also very excellent. You know, they're getting better and better each year. American guys coming on. Let me ask you about you, and I know you don't like to talk about yourself and brag, but you've been playing with a pretty bad injury. Tonight we're seeing a little bit of heroics because you're going to have this shoulder operated on as soon as the season's over. Tell us about that situation. Well, the doctor told me that I have a dislocated shoulder, and it's going to continue to pop out in and out. And what I need to do is get that operated on and the ligaments repaired. And he said there's a possibility that I may not be able to play contact sports again. So it's maybe a swan song for me, a farewell in a way. And you know, we really got to gut these last 3 games out because I'd like to go out a winner.
When you look ahead in the MILL and for the Philadelphia Wings without John Tucker, you see a lot of good things happening?
Yes, I do. The management is terrific in Philadelphia. The fan support is great. And if you have that, the quality of athlete and the players that we have waiting in the wings, we have a lot of good young talent, and they're just waiting for their opportunity to play. And I think it's about time that I moved on and did something else.
And moving on is coaching at Gilman. You're doing a great job there. A quick word about that.
We're doing okay. Last year we were...
Gilman School in Baltimore, we might tell her.
Gilman School in Baltimore, rich tradition of lacrosse. They've been playing since the 1920s. And this year we have a very young team. Last year we were 8-6, and we look for better things. We're trying to build a competitive program, and I think we'll be on top in the near future.
If you want to learn from the best, send your kid to Gilman School. John Tucker, one of the great stars of the MILL, maybe in his last season. Welcome back to the Civic Arena, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. 5-2 the score at halftime. And a must-win game for Philadelphia. They have a chance to go into the playoffs. Lee Felsman along with Bill Baroza. And Bill, this game started off very quickly. In the first 3 minutes of the game, Philadelphia had the 3-0 lead. That's the difference in the game, 5-2 at halftime. That was really the moment that stood out in that first half. They just took charge.
Yeah, in the first 3 minutes, Philadelphia came down, shot, scored, and we talked about the goaltending, and Kevin Bilger was tested quite early.
Well, the second goal of the game for Philadelphia was by Paul Denikin. And Denikin had 3 straight goals, 3 of the first 4. This one made it 2-0 for Philadelphia, and they were on their way. For the Pittsburgh Bulls, the second goal they scored came only moments before the half was expired.
Well, Brian Nicola makes a nice feed here over to Brendan Kelly to make it 5-2.
And of course, the 3-goal difference, that's the way it ended up. Stats?
And we see that Elliott can go for Philadelphia, who's been tremendous tonight, has 26 saves, and probably about 75% of those are one-on-ones there.
And again, the stats fairly close, and you got to say that maybe the big difference is that there's literally no hint of defense, it seems, in front of Kevin Bilger. He really doesn't have much help. That's been one of the Achilles heels for this Pittsburgh team all year long.
Yeah, and Kevin's got 20 saves tonight, so he's doing well. But with Ronnie Klausner and Dave Petramala out of the lineup, they've got to count on some of their offensive talent to be defensive players this evening.
We'll be back with the second half. All important for both teams as Philadelphia tries to march on toward the playoffs. There's the man, Dallas Elliott. 5-2 the score. Philadelphia leads primarily because of the sensational play of this gentleman, Bill Barroza. He has been unbelievable down there in the goal for Philadelphia.
He has been intense, and again, he was a Coors Light MVP earlier this season when they beat New England 11-10, and he's playing even better tonight than he played that evening.
Look at the face-off getting ready there, but on the other end of the field, Kevin Bilger still in the goal for the Pittsburgh Bulls. Face-offs, Pittsburgh leading that department, but not doing much with it. Philadelphia has been lethal off the face-off. Pittsburgh comes out strong, getting the face-off all the way across, pressure on Elliott, and guess what? Another big save. No surprise there. Tremendous play by Dallas Elliott. How long can he keep going? That's going to be a cat and mouse game. Again, for Philadelphia, they need to beat Baltimore their final 2 games of the season to get into the championship game and hopefully bring home 3 straight crowns. 3 straight championship crowns from the MILL. They can even lose tonight and still beat Baltimore in 2 games to get to that final. A quirk of the scheduling has given them renewed hope. But they lead here 5-2, Bill.
And that shot clock's getting down to 5 seconds.
They'll miss this opportunity now. It doesn't matter. The ball picked up by the Bulls.
And one thing I noticed is Pittsburgh's defense is playing a little bit more solid coming out right in this 3rd quarter than they did at the start of the game.
Tough part now for Philadelphia is many things. Brian Keith comes in, bounces it off of Elliott. Elliott now gets the ball. But, Bill, you want to keep your guys healthy, first of all, because you have to beat Baltimore. So if you're Coach Evans, you know, you're guarding against maybe a little bit of mental letdown, a little bit of looking ahead to next week. Plus, you want these guys just literally healthy. So you're tempted to take Dallas out of the goal just for that reason.
Yeah, but I think they need the momentum. If they win today, then it'll give them the confidence that they can beat Baltimore 2 games in a row. And that's what I'd look to that as well as an incentive to keep them in.
Kelly all the way up to Johnny Wilson. Wilson will push it in with a fast break. Fakes twice and dishes it off the pipe. Follow-up shot by Pat Lehman goes wide. And Wilson is still down. Top of your screen. There he is. Tremendous effort by John Wilson. And it came off the pipe, Bill. Goalie's best friend. You know full well.
But you said it earlier in the game, Leaf. Dallas is playing so well. They're holding on the ball so long, looking for that perfect shot. They've got to let him go earlier.
Go back to your instincts. And there's an instinctive shot. Boom. Gabrielson takes it from the top of the cylinder. Now that's a shot that Bilger was eating up in the first half. So Elliott starts off strong in the second half. Bilger starts off a little bit weak.
Tucker makes a nice feed, and it was Greg Manley who put that goal in. Greg Manley out of Loyola, University of Loyola in Baltimore, and puts it right in the corner.
So Manley wearing number 8. Gabrielson, who I thought had scored, number 6. And again, we're about 1.5 miles away from the action. Excuse me for that mistake. Next week game on next week's exclusive coverage here on Prime Network. The Pittsburgh Bulls, these same Bulls go to New England. And that's where we'll be as we continue our march toward the championship game. We're only weeks away now, 3 weeks away from Detroit against somebody. That's the way it stacks up. Detroit has really had a sensational year. Bill Barroza's ex-team. Bill, they waited till you left. What's the deal?
It seems like every team I'm with waits till I leave. The now called New York Saints were the New Jersey Saints. The year after I left, they won the championship. And I missed the championship ring there.
Detroit's having a great year, primarily because of the great Gate twins. Here comes Flynn on the faceoff. A nifty shot and a goal. He just did a little shovel pass, put that one in. Chris Flynn off the faceoff. 7-2. The Wings are taking control of this game in a big way.
Well, Chris Flynn.
Philadelphia with the 7-2 lead. 3rd quarter action. Leif Elsmo and Bill Barroza. Major Indoor Lacrosse League's 5th year of operation. Proud 5th year anniversary. Prime Network with exclusive coverage. There's a hard shot. Again, it was Manley Hanley coming down there and taking that shot.
Well, you talk about
Hanley, rather.
exclusive coverage. That's what Dallas has on the in goal tonight for Philadelphia.
Well, he has really done a job. I tell you what, if you're wondering if Philadelphia can beat Baltimore, who's had a good year and stand right now at 5-3, if they can beat him twice in a row, I think with Dallas Elliott in the goal, they can beat anybody twice in a row. He really puts you in a pretty good shape to win any game if he's playing at that level.
He's making Philadelphia forget about Brad Kotz this evening. Brad Kotz, one of the leading scorers in the MILL, out for the rest of the season with an injury. They've missed him throughout the season, but Dallas has helped them forget about that tonight.
I'll tell you, Bill, Philadelphia is making me wonder about their depth too. I didn't think it was as strong as it must be, because not only is Brad Kotz not here, another All-American midfielder from Syracuse, Todd Curry, isn't here. Two first-string guys, All-American players in the field game. Brad Kotz, one of the greatest ever. Curry, exceptional player. Both of those offensive talents not on the roster tonight, yet they lead 7-2.
Todd Curry was the guy that scored that winning goal in that 11-10 game at the Spectrum about a month ago.
And you talk about John Tucker leading this team with that injured shoulder. He's here. He knows that this may be his last season. He is dragging this team into a potential third straight championship game. 10:15 left, 7-2. Denikin already has a hat trick. He had a hat trick in the first quarter of the game. Nice check, wrap check by Butch Marino. He's putting on the wheels right now. The speed as he comes down, looks to the crease, and off the boards, picked up beautifully there. But Philadelphia regains control. Gabrielson. He's got a player to his left. Gives it off. It's Tucker with a shot. Bilger with a big save. Tucker looks for a breather now. 3 straight sprints. He'll stay in there to play a little bit of defense. You got to get a couple in the net. That's what Pittsburgh needs big time. I think, Bill, if they got a couple in there, they really start feeling better about their offensive skills, which are good. We've talked about the mystique of a great goalie, and that's what they're in a funk right now. They're in that cloudy fog because of the play of Dallas Elliott.
Yeah, we've been waiting for Brian Nicola, one of the leading scorers in the MILL, to come alive. And he got a nice assist earlier, but that was the last assist for Pittsburgh.
Wilson took a shot right there. There's a hard shot out front. Ball goes wide. Nice shot taken by Tim Conway. And no, that's not Tim Conway from the Carol Burnett Show. Conway shoots, ball goes down, whistle blows. 9:06 left in the third. 5-goal lead for Philadelphia.
Greg Manley going to the box. He's the guy that got the last goal for Philadelphia. A little bit of pushing and shoving.
You got Manley, number 8 for Philadelphia, and you have Hanley, number 9 for the Pittsburgh team. Both playing out of Baltimore. One Greg Manley from Loyola, Pat Hanley from Towson State. This gives Pittsburgh a good chance again to put that pressure on Dallas Elliott. Let's see how they rearrange their power play. 5-on-4. It'll be triggered right there by John Wilson, who is nursing a leg. We'll have to watch Wilson, number 13. He got hammered into the boards. He's nursing his leg a little bit. Let's see what happens. Good deflected play. It'll stay with Pittsburgh as it came off the stick of the Philadelphia Wings.
And a 5-goal lead is not unsurmountable. I mean, Pittsburgh can't come back.
Brian Nicola with a whiff shot. Nicola just not in the groove. He had a great year last year, first team All-Pro, and he just, with the injury this year, never got on track. Lou Delegati. Lou getting defense, comes around that big left hand, and he's ridden off.
That's a sign of maturity there and composure, because, again, Lou could have taken a shot twice there and chose to hold on to the ball and make sure they kill the penalty.
Tucker comes in. You heard him scream a little bit because he missed that shot. He had a chance. Kevin Bilger coming up strong. 5-goal lead still for Philadelphia. They scored the first 2 goals of the second half to really shock Pittsburgh. Again out front. They keep moving the ball around. The rocket by Marino. The follow-up by Butch. 7-3. Pittsburgh comes back to within 4. Finally, Butch Marino, one of the big guns, comes up with a goal.
That was just a one-man effort there. He took the first shot, and again, I don't even know if it made it to the goalie, but he got his own rebound, and so he got an assist and a goal on that play.
And Dallas Elliott came up with a big first save, but Butch Marino good extra effort following up and getting the third goal of the game. 4-goal lead now for Philadelphia. Third quarter action. Third quarter action. Pittsburgh now putting the pressure on Philadelphia. They've been taking the pressure all game. Look at Dallas Elliott making another great save on Stevenson. They've just scored off of the offense of Butch Marino, and they've gotten the ensuing faceoff. And they'd love to get one here, Bill. You come back to within 3, you've really got yourself a ball game.
Pittsburgh is not afraid to shoot, that's for sure.
A lot of times Joey Gold now controls the ball. Let's take a look. Referee's timeout for equipment on the far side right there. Pat Lehman trying to get mouthpiece back in place. 27 seconds on the shot clock. It starts at 40. Joey Gold. He'll trigger from up top. That's Gold again. And now he'll set up the offense. Elliott has been absolutely sensational. The question is, how far do you go with this great Dallas Elliott? And you know you need him full strength for the next 2 weeks. They are the most important games. Suppose he stays in here, Bill, and he gets an injury because of fatigue and intense pressure. It's a tough question for Evans, coach of the Philadelphia Wings.
That's a possibility, but the game is important too. They need the momentum going into the last 2 weeks of the season.
The Detroit team, the Detroit Turbos, leading the National Division. 7 wins, 2 losses. Pushed in close, Bilger. Now they're going to call a penalty against the defenseman Joey Gold of the Pittsburgh Bulls. And Gold rode Conley like a Brahma bull right into the crease, and he'll get 2 minutes for that. Not what you want. You get a little bit of momentum. You have the goal scored, and just like that, you get a power play for Philadelphia. Let's take a look at the Brahma bull ride by Joey Gold.
Well, he just pulls him right down to the turf. I mean, he actually tackled him because that would have been a one-on-one shot on Bilger.
Joey Gold, part of the great brother combination. Mark Gold playing for New England. A family that is well steeped in the tradition of lacrosse, and they live the game. Play together at UMBC. Now it's 5-on-4. Philadelphia right in the crease in the cylinder area is where they've been deadly. Nobody playing defense, and Bilger has been sensational with little or no attention paid to that area right in front. Butch Marino didn't have any chance for that. Bilger killing himself there. He had the ball, Bill, and he gave it away with a poor outlet pass.
But if you remember, that's the exact same play that Philadelphia scored on their last man up. They sent that cutter through the middle, hit him on a cut, and it was just a simple one-on-one shot.
This is Conway trying to eat up some time. Bilger trying to run interference for him. Give it back to Bilger. Conway elects to go upfield with the ball, and it brings Elliott out of the goal. Now he's fair game, and Marino knocks him down. I talked about potential injury, and that's what Evans is going to have to look at. I'll bet you Evans is saying, let's get that guy out of here. And he's not even paying attention as I look at Evans on the sideline. How would you like for Elliott to get injured late in this game when you know you need him for the next 2? 5:10 left in the third. 7-3. Ball stays with Philadelphia. They are in a power play for the next 50 seconds. 5-on-4. Hard shot well wide of the net.
Well, Pittsburgh's got a lot of life left in them, and a 4-goal lead again is not too much, and they're playing a great man-down defense here.
Ball goes behind the net. Bilger racing back, trying to get possession. He finally does. Look at the contact made by Stevenson back there. Players trying to bring the ball up. That's Jeff Klodson who gets it over to the far side, and Nicola can't pick it up cleanly. Don't forget Nicola with a bad ankle. Still not really 100%, but better than it has been, you might say. Now Nicola playing man down, Bill, and you know darn well that's what they want to do there is get a fast break and have Nicola in the open field. He is so dangerous on a fast break. Number 12, Brian Nicola. Let's see if Pittsburgh can get him the ball in a fast break situation.
Well, you add to that they've got Butch Marino out there as well. Beautiful one-on-one save by Kevin Bilger.
Push call. Ball stays with Philadelphia. Shot, or the penalty clock expired, so we are even up now. 5-on-5. Let's take a look at that push call. 5-on-5 as we look at Bilger.
A little bit late by Stevenson, but a nice save by Kevin Bilger.
Team's all even. John Tucker on the left of your screen. As you see the score 7-3. John Tucker directing traffic against Joe Gold. He's clearing out. Gives it back to Holthouse. Evans has called off his team. He wants a fresh set of offensive players on there.
I would have thought at the start of the game we'd see a higher scoring game tonight, but again, because of the way Elliott and Bilger have been solid in both ends of the floor, we've only got 7-3.
Well, the Wings are right on target for their yearly average, which is about 11 goals. The big surprise is the Bulls, who have been scoring in big bunches earlier on the season. They just can't beat Dallas Elliott. Wrap checks by each team. Here comes Mark Hahn, gives it up to the far side. Bilger's going to have to come up big. Ball's loose. Still out in front. Nobody can pick it up. And a check by Bilger. He's doing it all by himself. Kevin Bilger, what a sensational game. If Pittsburgh comes back, he's got to be the MVP. Ryan Nicola. Left-handed shot saved by Elliott.
And if Philadelphia wins, I think Elliott will be the MVP on that end.
No question, he should be. He has absolutely been unbeatable down there. Pittsburgh, it's not like they've had just a lot of shots. They've had a lot of excellent shots and just not able to beat them. Gabrielson, big and strong, getting out of that play, and a rocket shot to the corner. That's got to hurt. If there's been a weakness for Bilger, it's been that corner. 8-3, Philadelphia up by 5.
Well, watching the replay here, Leaf, again, Manley picks that top corner, and that's where Bilger, as you said earlier, has been weak for most of the game, if any spot at all.
So 8-3, Philadelphia right on pace for their season average of about 11-point-something goals a game. And the Pittsburgh Bulls, who earlier in the season were averaging like 16 goals a game, have really fallen off. This team is really in a daze trying to get it past Dallas Elliott. Well, we talked to him before the game, and you all saw the comments Dallas had. He knew that he had to step up a notch as they move toward the playoffs.
That was Mark DeSico, one of the captains on the team, took a shot by John Wilson. I don't know where it hit him, but it sure stung him.
2 minutes left in the third quarter. That's Wilson. Boy, he's got a rocket shot from out there.
And you see Mark DeSico go down. It might have hit him in the chest or shoulder area.
Back to live action. That was Nicholas starting the play. He asked for the ball back from Brendan Kelly. And a good defensive play by Manley. Here comes Kelly in front. He's got to shoot it. He gets checked twice, does not get the shot off. Shot clock down to 20. Ball loose, picked up by Gabrielson. Good defensive play by Philadelphia. Tucker will slow things down. As always, he is a good field general out there, and he won't let things get carried away. 1:35 left, third quarter. 8-3. As we get into the fourth quarter, we'll show you the standings again to let you know how this matches up. Philadelphia has a chance to go from third place, that's last place in their division, to first place and a potential championship, which is unbelievable. Yet, because of the quirk in scheduling, the first place team is the team they play twice in the last 2 games of this season. They can do it. Ball pushed in close, just wide by Lou Delgatti. Delgatti with the missed shot. Bilger with the rebound. And under a minute left in the third period. 5-goal lead for Philadelphia. They've led throughout. They came out with an explosive offense. 3 goals in the first 3 minutes. And really that has been, if nothing else, the difference in the whole game, Bill. Excellent goalie play from that point on. With those 3 goals, Pittsburgh has never gotten any closer than that. Pat Lehman trying to get into the cylinder, looking for help. Joey Gold's planted there, asking for it. Good defense by Matt McGady. Marino, he's got the cannon from there, elects to give it off. Push it into Joey Gold, but Lou Delgatti plays good defense. They might call him on the push on that.
Yeah, Pittsburgh's not even getting a chance to take many good shots, and the one shots they do take, Elliott is making a save, and then they're clearing the ball. Where Philadelphia on the other end of the field is getting 2 and 3 shots on goal.
Looks like we're going to have somebody take a little stint in the penalty box. Now, what is Elliott going over that way for?
He might have slashed the player in the head. If you saw earlier behind the goal, he came out with his stick high and tried to make a check.
All right, this could be a momentum buster. Mark this down if you're scoring this game. 22 seconds left in the third period. 8-3. The Wings have led throughout, but right now the guy who has kept them in that lead, Dallas Elliott, is in the penalty box. And they're going to have to bring in a fresh goalie, their number 2 goalie, and Mark Michella from Drexel comes in. This could be a momentum buster. Let's take a look at what happens. Let's look back at why this penalty was called.
Ball was loose behind the goal, and Elliott, you see him slashed him right in the head. I mean, there's no question about that.
So Elliott comes over. They put Conley in the box too. They're trying to get him in the box just for substitution purposes. Let's see if they call a penalty on this. Philadelphia, Bill, is trying to put Conley in the box so that when the penalty expires, they don't have to run the goalie back in. They can run Conley back in. So there'll be 5-on-4 at Pittsburgh. That's why Conley, number 10, is in there. No penalty on him. They want to substitute Conley back in, let Elliott sit out. I would say there's a good chance that Dallas Elliott has seen the last action for the night. I know Evans has to be thinking about that possibility. You see Mark Michella in the goal right now. Tough way to come into the game, isn't it, Bill? Have you ever come into the game as a goalie on a man-down situation?
It's very difficult, particularly when you don't get a chance to warm up. But one thing that's absent on this man-up play is John Wilson. He's not out there for Pittsburgh.
I talked about him nursing. Look at that shot right inside. They say no, hit the pipe, bounced off Marchella, and he gets the benefit of the pipe save. 8-3. There are 1 minute 38 seconds left on the penalty. If they get possession, they'll start the fourth quarter man up. We'll be back with the all-important fourth quarter. Stay with us. We're back at the Civic Arena. Lee Felsmo, Bill Baroza. The score 8-3. The Wings in front. Here is the leading score for the Pittsburgh Bulls. The Pittsburgh Bulls, if they're going to win this, need John Wilson. John Wilson leaving the arena. You saw how heavily bandaged his leg was with ice on it, Bill. We talked about the hit he took into the boards earlier on in the game. That's the hit that has put him out of the game. He stayed in a good many minutes past that collision, but that started to take its toll. Those contusions sort of do that. They work their way into your pain system, and then you just finally have to give it up.
Yeah, by tomorrow when he gets up, it may be a case where he can't even walk.
Brian Keith gets the face-off, so with John Wilson gone, extra pressure on a guy like Brian Nicola, who really hasn't had a chance to get back in the groove after being out with an ankle injury. The ankle injury now. Nicola with the ball right there. He rockets the ball right in the corner. Nicola fills in where Wilson left off. 8-4. And Pittsburgh now against Marchella with the goalie in the penalty box. They come back to within 4.
That sure looked like he was in the groove there. I mean, I don't know if Dallas Elliott was in the goal if he would have stopped that. That was just pinpoint accuracy.
Yeah, a lot of velocity.
And you watch it again here, Nicola just picked that corner off.
So 8-4 now. Nicola, that's got to make him feel good, and it gives Pittsburgh a little bit of a lift. We have to see if Dave Evans puts his goalie back in there. He does. Elliott is back in there. Now the question is, Elliott has been sensational. Bill, you lose a lot of water. You lose a lot of your stamina playing in the indoor league. In the fourth quarter, as good as he is, he can't be as good as he was in the first half. The energy has to be drained simply by lack of water.
Well, you're right about that. At the same time, his adrenaline is real high. And I don't think Dave will pull him until he knows he's got the game in hand. Then give him a rest.
What happens if, well, he's got to pull him if Pittsburgh runs into 2 or 3 goals on him. Hard shot in against Bilger. Bilger going the whole way. That you can be sure of. And Joey Gold now with the ball. Let's see if the pressure from the offensive end of the field. This is Stevenson all the way into the crease. A hard shot coming up. If they get free, wrapped up and tackled. That'll be 2 minutes on Philadelphia. Another power play for the Pittsburgh Bulls. They like this. Tackled by Manley.
Yeah, I mean,
or Gabrielson.
That's just a lot of weight being pulled down there. There was only one way to play defense, and Gabrielson was the smaller of the 2 players out there. So hold him down, and that was Jeff Klotz in there.
Scott Gabrielson listed at 6 feet 180. I bet he's every bit of 180. He's a strong, fit kid. Could go more like, looks like he's more like 6'1", 190. Here's Pittsburgh now, 5-on-4. They just scored on a power play, and now they have a chance to do it again. And I bet you Nicola is drooling. You tend to drool a little bit when you just had a goal on that situation. Ball goes back to Philadelphia. They'll try to eat up that penalty. There's still a minute 38 left. Pittsburgh's got a pressure without giving up a good chance for Philadelphia to score. Tucker now looks, and he's shoved down from behind by Gebline. Good play, good defensive play. Tucker yelling at the referee on the far side, trying to get a call. Now Nicola recharges the offense. He's in the corner, all the way back to far side. Push it in. Good save by Marcella.
That was similar to the play they scored on earlier in the game where Brendan Kelly put one in across the goal.
To remind you, the leading scorer for the Pittsburgh Bulls, John Wilson, is off the field. He took a hit early in the third quarter, I believe, and it was that hit that finally caught up with him at the end of the third quarter. He had to leave with his leg bandaged in ice. Here comes Matt McGady, ridden off by the defense. Back into Bilger, looking at him very calmly. Looks for the outlet. Bilger has been sensational, and Dallas Elliott has been one step above that. 37 seconds left on the penalty. So about half a minute left on this 5-on-4. A good chance for Pittsburgh to get back in the game. Here's the rocket shot from out front. Still 25 seconds left. Back up. This is Kelly out front. This is where Wilson normally is. Brendan Kelly taking his spot. Ball pushed around. 16 seconds left. The shot clock is no factor because that's been reset with those two shots in the face of Marcella. Push called on Philadelphia. It'll be back to Pittsburgh. They've got 10 seconds, Bill. 10 seconds on the power play, and Brian Keith will put it in play from the corner.
Yeah, I've been impressed with Brendan Kelly up top, Leaf. I didn't realize he had such a powerful shot, but
hard shot picked up by Marcella. Good save. Low shot by Butch Marino, and that will expire that penalty. Gabrielson comes in out of the box. Now Philadelphia has a chance to put on pressure. Tucker wants it badly. Conley picks it up behind him. Now they'll reset. Tucker goes off the field. Delegati's on. They'll put a cohesive unit on there. Philadelphia will. Shot clock for them is down to about 20 seconds. And we're just about 11:30 left in the fourth period. The final part of this game. Low scoring game, as Bill has mentioned, 8-4. And especially low scoring when you think of 3 goals coming in the first 3 minutes. Matt McGady, hard shot. Bilger makes the save. Here comes Pittsburgh down. Brian Nicola, he likes the open field. He's coming in hard, pushing. Tries to get it down to the feet of Marcella. No, that's Elliott. I keep giving Marcella the credit. It's Elliott. We'll be right back. With 10 minutes left in the fourth period, you see there the score 8-4. Tom Young calls an illegal procedure call. And Philadelphia is going to go back into the box. It'll be a power play situation, I think. No, nobody's going in the box. Possession to Pittsburgh, that I know. 8-4 the score. And Marcella, the second string goalie for Philadelphia, was in the game for a little while. I gave him credit for a couple saves after he was lifted. And Dallas Elliott, who was out for a penalty, is back in the game. Well, it is 5-on-4, but nobody's in the box. Now figure that out. Hard shot saved again by Elliott, who looks fresh and strong. Far side to Nicola, but picked off beautifully by the Philadelphia Wings.
Not only is there anybody in the box, but the penalty clock is running down at this point in time, Lee.
Penalty clock's down to 1:38, but nobody's in the box. Here comes Chris Flynn. He finally goes in. 2 minutes, 2 more minutes for not being in the box. I think Scotty's going to add on to that. Let's see. Now a fresh 2 minutes goes on the penalty. That's kind of a odd play, but time has stopped here. And as they straighten it out, we'll take a short break right now. It'll be a power play for Pittsburgh. Fourth quarter action. Stay with us. So it's a penalty situation for Pittsburgh, but Brian Nicola's shot bounced off the pipe into the crowd, which gives the ball to Philadelphia. So even though they're down by 1 player, 5 against 4, they're stalling now. The penalty against Chris Flynn down to a minute, and they'd like to just move the ball around and eat up that penalty. McGady has a chance to shoot, and Matt McGady scored, but the ball is taken away. The goal is taken away because he stepped in the crease. Matt McGady with a potential game breaker. I think, Bill, that would have put the game out of reach.
That play has happened time and again, and so often in the league in 1991. It's just the fact that the player gets in so close, take that shot, and then a good defensive play is to continue to put a little bit of pressure on the offensive player and push him in the crease.
Well, Brendan Kelly loses the ball out front. This will be pressure on Bilger that he cannot just turn away. Constantly he has had pressure in his face, and Ricky Freed with a great heads-up fast break puts in the game breaker, 9-4.
Yeah, Ricky Freed comes down here, just a nice overhand shot right in the corner. And again, those corners have been the demise of Kevin Bilger this evening.
Well, that's a fast break that I know you wouldn't want to be in that situation, and I know I wouldn't want to be in that situation.
That's why I retired.
That is a killer, and he has been on the receiving end of too many of those. If you look at Ricky Freed, Bilger has been back there with little or no help most of those goals, the 9 goals. I'll tell you what, you can credit that goal to Brendan Kelly, who really was sloppy with the ball up in that quarterback position.
Yeah, just when you think Pittsburgh had a chance to cut the lead to a 3-goal difference, they just didn't take advantage of their power play.
Ryan Nicola now trying to get on track, coming back from an ankle injury all the way across. Here's the power shooter. Butch Marino tries to change pace, didn't get in past Elliott, and no way. Doesn't work. Power play now down to 3-2-1. Teams are all even as they push it up the field. Conley. Whistle blows here. Let's just see. Rich Tamburino comes in, says no whistle. It'll be Philadelphia ball. Conley picks it up. 9-4. Philadelphia leads. 8 minutes left. Looks like they've got this one in hand. It's been a real close game again ever since that first 3-goal barrage, and that happened in the first 3 minutes of the game. It was 3-0 that quick for Philadelphia. Take away those 3 goals, it's 6-4. It's been very even thanks to exceptional goalie play by both Bilger and Elliott.
If he can just find his player here, he's got a breakaway.
Looks like Marino comes in, goes low. Elliott picks it up, easy save. He looks so exceptional. It's hard to believe that he could play at this level for 4 straight quarters, but he has. Good diving play by Butch Marino. Marino again off to the races. He'll have a little bit of room in front of him, a trailing player. He looks for help. He'll shoot it himself. Wraps it around behind the back. A good shot. And a save by Dallas. Let's take a look at Dallas Elliott a moment ago.
Marino concentrating, not only trying to shoot the ball, but making sure he didn't get hit on that play. I think he took a little bit off of where he wanted to place the ball.
We're seeing the defending player coming on strong. 6:51 left. 5-goal lead. Time is running out on Pittsburgh. Tucker knows that. Uses all the clock. 13 seconds left on the shot clock. They've got to get one. Philadelphia does to maintain possession. Gabrielson now. Look at the saves for Dallas. Or that's Dallas Elliott had about 28. Philadelphia. I'm sorry. Philadelphia is Dallas Elliott, and that is 45 saves. And that is a tremendous night. But Kevin Bilger was up around 28, and that's a good night on its own.
Well, the record for the league is held by Gumbar, who's with Baltimore. He's got 60 saves, so it's not out of the question that Dallas could end the night close to that.
And those are the 2 goalies, Bill, who will be facing each other to decide who wins that American division. Philadelphia plays Baltimore, who leads the division. 5 wins, 3 losses. With a win tonight, Philadelphia goes to 4-3, or 4-4 rather. So Baltimore and Philadelphia will decide if they win tonight who will win that American division. It will be Elliott against Gumbar, the 2 great Canadian goalies. We'll be back for the final moments of this game. Philadelphia hanging on to a 5-goal lead, but Philadelphia has to win to move toward the championship.
When you travel, stay where the stars of the major indoor lacrosse leagues stay. In Worcester, Mass, the Clarion Suites. In New York, the Long Island Marriott. In Philadelphia, the Philadelphia Airport Hilton Inn. In Baltimore, the Sheraton Inner Harbor Hotel. In Pittsburgh, the Westin William Penn. And in Detroit, the Radisson Pontchartrain. All official hotels of the major indoor lacrosse league.
We're back in Pittsburgh, 9-4. Philadelphia in control from the opening whistle. The 5-goal lead. Lee Felsmill, Bill Baroza. Bill, what do you think Pittsburgh's got left in their bag of tricks? Anything at all?
Well, with John Wilson out hurt now, and Brian Nicola, although scored the last man-up power play goal for Pittsburgh, I don't know who they're going to count on for the scoring. They've only got 4 goals on the evening. And one thing to keep in mind is the play of Dallas Elliott. I mean, he's been a brick wall in there. Pittsburgh, as you see, has pulled their goalie, so they've got 6 on 4 or 6 on 5.
And it only takes about 5 seconds for Kelly to come down and rifle run into the corner. Maybe the extra players got Dallas Elliott off his concentration mark, but goal number 5 for Pittsburgh.
Well, Brendan Kelly again took John Wilson's place on the power play, puts it in the corner, a nice shot. It'll be interesting to see if every play down, if Pittsburgh wins the faceoff, if they pull the goaltender. And I guess they have nothing to lose, so that's a very, very good creative coaching play.
Well, I'll tell you what, as good as he's been going down, I think I may have been shooting higher a little earlier on, because that's a very tough shot, as we've talked about. If it has the right velocity and it's right on the corner, it's almost impossible to save.
And we see that they're going to do that one more time with Pittsburgh. They're going to do it until they get this game tied up.
They get the face-off, 6 minutes left, 9-4. Bilger comes off. No goalie for Pittsburgh. It's one 6-man team against a 5-man team. They have a man advantage, but no goalie. Nicola now. First team All-Pro last year, slowed by an injury this year. And Kelly working out front in the quarterback position. They wheel and fire, Brian Keith does. And with the extra man, it's easy for them to maintain possession. Kelly again out front. He's the guy that's going to have to go back. Nicola with a rocket shot. And a nice save by Dallas Elliott. Bushmarino wants to shoot. He takes a little bit off it. Good play. And the ball not picked up by Brian Nicola. That'll be a goal.
That's always the risk you run.
Well, you got to credit that one to Nicola. He had a chance for it. He backed off it. He shied away from the ball. And it was as if he was afraid of the contact, and that could be from the ankle injury. He's a big, strong kid, but he didn't want to get in contact. Watch this ball.
Yeah, ball came down. Gary Martin picked it up, and he's off to the races. That's the kind of goal I want. I want no goaltender in there when I shoot the ball.
Not to point a finger at Brian Nicola, but he had a chance to level that player and get that ball. He shot away, and it cost him a goal. Next week, the Pittsburgh Bulls at the New England Blazers, as our exclusive coverage on Prime Network continues of the Major Indoor Lacrosse League. That will about steal it for Philadelphia, 10-5. They're right on their average. And the gamble worked once, failed once. The gamble of pulling the goalie for the Pittsburgh Bulls. It's a good ploy, I think. But, Bill, you have to be super aggressive when that ball is loose. Ricky Freed comes in, rockets in, goal number 11. And that's 2 in a row for Ricky Freed. How about that? Ricky Freed out of UMBC. And now Philadelphia feels like they've got it. I tell you, this team looks pretty good.
Yeah, Philadelphia is warmed up, I think, for a 2-game series with Baltimore here, and we're getting a change in goalies for Pittsburgh.
Well, that's the crowd cheer that you heard. I tell you, the folks here at the Civic Arena know that Kevin Bilger played a whale of a game. He had little or no help out in front of him, and he was sensational. The offense let him down. They couldn't put the ball in the net.
Well, we kept talking about when Coach Evans was going to pull Dallas Elliott, and he hasn't all evening. Wow, what a goal. Matt McGeady behind the back, picks out a corner after Linthicum makes a first save without being warmed up.
So Linthicum comes in there in a bad situation, and they right away take advantage of it. Philadelphia feeling now that the game is over. 12-5 the score. Matt McGeady right there. Look at that. That's a ponytail. If you think it's a ponytail, you're not wondering. You're wondering what it is. You're right. Great player out of Maryland. Matt McGeady.
Well, to the credit of the Philadelphia defense and also to Dallas Elliott, the lowest scoring game this season has been an 8-goal game, which has been by quite a few teams during the year.
Fast break. Flynn comes in. Linthicum makes a sensationally tough save for a goalie who has not been in the game. Conley now into Flynn again. And Linthicum comes up strong. As rough as Linthicum felt initially, Bill, he's been in the war already. Get a couple of those shots in your face mask and your chest, you feel a little more comfortable.
Yeah, and I tell you, Pittsburgh is either they're frustrated or they still believe they have a chance, but they're playing tough defense right now.
Lou Delegati out front, knocked down. This could be a fast break if Smith can pick it up. He does not. Brian Keith does. Looks up to Joey Gold. Brian Keith keeps it. It's 3-on-3. It'll be Keith with a face dodge, and he is hit from behind. Nailed from behind by Tony Resch. Push call. Ball goes back to Pittsburgh. And just because it's a possession call makes it not a bad check by Resch. Here's Kelly again, faking that high shot. And Elliott's still in the game. And hard shot by Marino. Boy.
And they pulled their goalie again. They got 6-on-5, but only good play. Only good play if you get every loose ball.
Well, Philadelphia is also in no hurry now. They saw the open net. Linthicum raced back in there, but Matt McGady pulled it back very wisely. Gives it to Dallas Elliott. Old house now. 3:16 left. Game's all over. 12-5. Philadelphia marching on what could be a storybook finish to this season. And Bill, can you imagine? Here's a team that's in last place coming into this game with 3 games left. And if they win them all, because of the scheduling has really blessed them, they play their last 2 games against the #1 team. They can end up in the championship game against Detroit.
Joey Gold coming down. They changed goalies, so Elliott's out and Mark Moschella is in. So he'll get the last 3 minutes of the game to finish up Philadelphia and keep that goal scoring record intact for Philadelphia with the fewest goals in a game this year.
Linthicum came in just in time to pick up that shot. Under 2.5 minutes left, 7-goal lead. There's no way, there's not enough time to score 7 goals, unfortunately for Pittsburgh. But Brian Nickel and company would like to save a little face. That shot high and wide. Tucker in there charging up his defense. Brendan Kelly's going to have to play goal. Here it comes. Hahn comes in, shoots one underneath of Linthicum. Goal number 13. Mark Hahn showing good wheels. He's made a living on that fast break style. He's got tremendous speed. Goal number 13 for Philadelphia. As we look at Linthicum, he's had a tough job running in and out of the game, coming out on every offensive play. And there's Mark Hahn, one of the oldest players in the league, but as you can see, still one of the fastest.
They just announced the Coors Light MVP of the game, and no surprise to either one of us up here in the booth is Dallas Elliott, the Philadelphia goaltender.
He has really played an exceptional game. I thought his level would fall off a little bit, Bill, and it would have to, you would think, after 3/4 of that, but it hasn't seemed to fall off at all. And Coach Evans kept him in there a long time. Kelly now works it out front. There's no goalie again for Pittsburgh. They're trying to pick up a few goals here at the end. Kelly works up top. This is Butch Marino. Hard shot. Moschella just fielding those. Here's John Tucker. He'll be able to loft one in. He takes it right now. He waited to the last moment. Linthicum coming in from the sideline. No factor. And Johnny Tucker gets goal 14. All these scored against a goalieless defense. But the record book won't make that differentiation. It'll show 14-5 if the game were to end right now.
Well, it's got to be frustrating for Pittsburgh. We're watching the replay here, and John Tucker, again, a very easy goal coming down with a diving David Linthicum trying to make a save there.
So Tucker very smartly waited to the last moment when he knew Linthicum couldn't get it, and he knew it was close enough to have no chance of missing the goal. So Bill's going to go downstairs to the field, and so he can get a first grasp on Coors Light MVP Dallas Elliott before he gets gobbled up by the press here at the Pacific Arena. 1:15 left. Hanley now works it into Brian Keith, who wheels around, shoots high. lot of these late shots have been off of the 4x4.5 net. Conley now. All the way in. Pressure on Linthicum, and Lou Delegati gets goal number 15. 15-5. It's a blowout, mostly because of the tactic of pulling the goalie has left a lot of offensive opportunities for Philadelphia, so you can't fault Dennis Way of Pittsburgh. Here's a good look at Delegati. Again, a lot of motion offense. Linthicum sliding back in. He wasn't even in the game. And Delegati taking advantage of that spread defense and a moving goalie to put that goal in. Lou Delegati, one of the veterans of Philadelphia. He too, just like John Tucker, would like to hang through this year and get that three-peat. Let's take a look at how the league standings are affected after this win tonight. Pittsburgh comes flying down. Marcelo, now the ball goes out of bounds. They'll get the ball back. A win tonight. Again, they came in last place. Philadelphia was at 3-4. Now they're 4-4, and Baltimore, you see, at 5-3. If they win 2 with tonight's win, it won't even be a tiebreaker situation. They still have to win 2, and they will beat Baltimore and end up playing Detroit for the MILL championship. So by winning tonight, they eliminate all confusion in a tiebreaker. They still have to beat Baltimore twice, but there will be no doubt, if they do, who's the best team in the American division. A score by Pittsburgh with 35 seconds left gives them a 15-6 score, which Marino scoring on the play late here in the fourth quarter. Ball chopped up out to the front. Nobody picks it up. Marino comes flying in. Good heads-up play by Marino, and Marcelo was unsettled. Marino, who makes a living on the hard shot from outside, heads-up play there, off-speed kind of shot. 15-6 now the score. It's hard to keep track of all the scoring. It's coming at a feverish pace after a very, very low-scoring game for most of the day. Again, a shot in close to Marcelo, and then that one finds the mark. So Marino, it'll be a little bit misleading to look at the box score and see Marino with 2 goals, but really they were goals that had no effect on this game. Here he is off the faceoff, comes in, just puts it right behind Marcelo. 15-7. So Marino pads his stats a little bit. He had 1 goal that made the game 7-3. That was in the 3rd period. That was a very effective goal. These 2 here aren't going to affect the game very much. Yet, Butch Marino does have a hat trick. 18 seconds left. Out in front. Ball knocked down. Stevenson can't pick it up. Nicola might be able to get one here. Seconds ticking down. Under 10 seconds. The ball is in the net. And the referees just want this game to end. 3-2-1. That'll do it. 15-7. An 8-goal win for Philadelphia. This team is showing character. They could be on their way to a championship. We'll be back with our post game. Stay with us.